Yo, what's the dealio, man? Listen, in this video, you already know I got a straight banger for you, all right? So look, what I want to do is I want to talk about 3 stocks that could make you at least $1,500 this month, all right? 3 separate stocks. So you could choose one stock, right? Or you could play and dibble and dabble in, all 3 or 2 or whatever, right? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the charts. I'm going to break it down for you so you understand what's going on, where I'm coming from, and all of that good stuff, right? We're going to base everything off of the monthly time frame, all right? I'm going to give y'all some levels and I'm going to bless you, all right? So before we get started, what I want to say is shout out to everybody that had a successful progressive July. July is over with. It don't matter no more, all right? This week is over with. It don't matter no more. But you know it's not over? This new month. All right, so we got a whole new month. We had a nasty gap down, the whole market gap down, whole market been red all day pretty much, right? We had some little, things came up a little bit here and there, but and the market is still open, right? I'm recording this video a little early, but at the end of the day, the week is over, July is over, and now we gotta look at August, okay? So one thing I like to do is I like to look at the monthly time frame at the end of every month. And I like to see what stocks could be trending up or what stocks could be trending down. All right. So I got 3 stocks for you guys. Be sure to do me a favor. Like this video, subscribe to this YouTube channel. And if you know somebody who needs this information, be sure to send this information to them. All right. And share it with them. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the charts and I'm going to show you these stocks, and give you a overview of the stocks. All right. So, with that being said, first stock we have is going to be Alibaba, okay? So, if y'all been following me for a while, like this year, earlier this year, I was trading Alibaba almost every day, okay? But let's look at Alibaba right here, okay? So, right now they're at 117.30, okay? If you look at them over the last month, all right, they're up 5%, okay? But look, they came all the way down on July 9th. They came all the way down to 104. And then look where they at. Their peak was 122.96. All right, now they're down a little bit. If we go back to the last 3 months, look, in May, they was at 134, okay? And then, like I said, July, they came down to 103, and now they're at 117, right? So that's Alibaba. Now, we're going to go to the charts and we're going to look at it. Now, if you understand what's going on with Alibaba, they just had a lot of great news happen with AI, right? So they're getting into the AI sector. So anything AI is going to turn you up, right? So let's go to the charts and let's see what's going on with Alibaba right now. All right. So we're going to share the screen. All right, so check this out, right? So we got Alibaba. Okay, this is Amazon, but let's go to Baba. Alibaba. All right, cool. So daily time frame, monthly time frame. All right. So look, if you look at the month, look, this was a strong July. All right. They was in a downtrend right here, okay? So look, they came up to 130.48 last few months, came all the way from 148 all the way down here, right, to 103. Now look what happened. They bounced up right here last month, okay? We had a gap down today on Alibaba. Now, what I'm looking for Alibaba to do this month, we are talking about the month. We're not talking about the day. We're not talking about an hour. We're talking about the month. Okay. Yesterday, they closed at 120, right? But they're at 117. So if we can get right here above 123, if we can get above 123, then I think that Alibaba could blast off and go to 134. All right. So if I see us get above 123 next week, I may enter into some swings and ride them to the upside all the way to 134. Okay. Now, with that being said, let's go to the daily time frame real quick. Now, what do we know about Alibaba? Alibaba likes to gap up and they like to gap down, right? So look, if you look at Alibaba, look, they do have a gap down here, right? All the way down to 108 on a daily time frame, right? Because this was at 103 when they came down to 103 and they gapped up from 108 to 114. All right. So they did gap up there. Now, this gap right here, this gap could signal a breakaway gap, right? So remember the video I talked about yesterday? It could be the start of an uptrend. All right. So this gap could be a breakaway gap because it's been coming down. It hasn't been consolidating a lot, but it was in this range for a little bit, and then it gapped up, hasn't came down yet, right? And now it's here. So Alibaba likes to gap up and gap down. But look at this. We have a gap up here from 132 to 126. All right. And that's why I'm saying if we get above 123, I like Alibaba to 134. All right. So that's the first trade. Alibaba, not the first trade, but the first stock. If you want to know how to play it, then be sure to join the Discord. And, I'll let you guys know if I do enter, if I don't, all of that good stuff. But the thing about Alibaba that I've noticed is Alibaba doesn't like to, they don't follow the economy, right? Like the Mag 7 and stuff like that. So Alibaba operates on its own time and it likes to gap up and gap down. So a lot of the moves that Alibaba makes, you may catch it on a lucky day, but a lot of the moves that Alibaba makes, you may only get in, you may only catch that move if you swing trade that stock, right? So I like Alibaba to the upside for the month of August. All right, because we had a strong month last month, and they kind of do their own thing. All right. Now the next stock that I have is going to be Applied, APLD. All right. Now look where they are today. They're down 2.6% right now. Right. On the last month, they're up 26%. They just beat earnings. Okay. So this number just got here. Right. A couple of days ago, yesterday they was at 994. No, not yesterday. A couple of days ago they was at 994 actually. All right. Beat earnings. Okay. So they're at 994. Right. And that's just the last month. If we go to the last 3 months, they came up to 1386 in June. All right. And then they came down and then they came back up a little bit lower. All right. So this is Applied. If you go to the year, they're up 62%. Right. So let's go to the charts and let's look at APLD. Like I say, they just beat earnings, right? So check this out. So if we go to APLD right here, you see that they gapped up right here, right? Okay. So this was on Wednesday. All right. Then they gapped up right here. Okay. So this, once again, this could be a breakaway gap as well. Right? Potentially. Based on, I'm trying to incorporate the things that I'm teaching you guys with these videos, right? But this could be a breakaway gap. But today, look, so it gapped up there, right, on earnings. And then today, look what happened. It fell and it came down all the way to 1139. All right. It still has some room to like 1044, but we don't know if it's going to go all the way down there. Okay. So we do have a gap right here. All right. So we got a little bit more of a gap to go. We could come down there on Monday, Tuesday, bounce off. But let's look at the monthly time frame. Now look at this. So we got this level right here at 1407. A little bit lower. Yeah. 1407. All right, we got 1407. Okay, and then we got right here at 1543. So this was last month. So Apply has been in the uptrend since May, right? Everything has been in the uptrend since April, right? So we're gonna see if Apply can break above this 1407 range right here, and then boom, I think that we could get to that 1540. All right, and then by the end of the year, I think that we could get to $20 on APLD by the end of the year. We're gonna have a pullback. All right, so we may have a month where we may consolidate or we may come down a little bit. That month may be this month. It may be next month, right? But based on what I'm seeing, I'm liking what I'm seeing, okay? Especially where it dropped from, okay? Apply dropped all the way from $34, and this was back in October of 2021, okay? So we're just now hitting levels that we haven't hit since 2022. All right, so it took about 3 years for Apply to come back up. So it has momentum, and so I like where this is going. Okay, now we had some wicks, some selling pressure back in June, but the next month it came back, right? So last month we have less selling pressure, so we could make a nice move to the upside. All right. So we could, I'm looking at 1539 for my price target for the month of August with APLD. All right. Now, everything that I'm saying, if any kind of crazy news comes out, it could invalidate it. All right. I want to be clear of that. So make sure you're doing your due diligence and your research. I'm sharing you what I'm looking at. All right. So that right there, that is APLD, that is applied. Now, I'm going to say it one more time. I am just sharing with you guys what I am seeing and what I like and what setups I like. All right, that's all I'm doing. Okay. Now, let's look at the last stock that I'm looking at this month that I think can make another nice move. And I'm going to give you guys my rationale behind that as well. All right. So we got Webull. All right. This ticker symbol is BULL. So right now it's down. It's at 1335. Right. If you look at the last week, it's down 17%. That's a good thing. Okay. It's down 17%. Now over the past month, it's up 4.82%. Right. Past 3 months, it's down 9%. Okay. Now, why is it down? Because like a week and a half ago, it touched 1774. All right. And then it rejected and it came all the way down. So from 1774 is where it just came up to. All right. So I like Webull. Okay. To the upside. Another reason why I like Webull is because it has earnings this month as well. And what do we know about stocks that have earnings? A lot of times they will run up towards earnings. Okay. So if Webull right now is at $13 and they have earnings, I believe it's like the 26th of the month. Then what that means is they could run up leading up to the earnings. So let's go to their charts and let's go look at Webull. Okay. So we go to ticker symbol bull. All right, boom. All right. So this is on the monthly chart. So look at this. Right. They are a new ticker. They haven't been around forever. But I like to look at Webull similar to Robinhood. I know the company. I use them every single day. Right. So let's look. So they touched, when they IPO, they touched $80, which is insane. But let's look at this right here. Right? If we go here, look. All right. So last month, like I say, they actually touched 1834. All right. This is on TradingView. I showed you Robinhood. So they touched 1834. Right? And then a couple months ago, they touched 1874. 78. All right. So this 18, 1840, 1880 range is a strong level right there, right? And then they came down right here. So what I'm thinking is, because they have earnings, we could see a run up, even if it's up to 1588. Okay. Now, because they're just wicks and there's no real levels from here to here, what I would do is I would come down to the weekly and I would go look to see there's no levels except right here. All right, at 1721, that's still pretty far away, right? So that lets me know, even on a pullback, I think that this is a good entry, like a month out, right? Or into August, right? Because it's already down, right? Today, they're down 5-6% alone, just today. All right, so if it just goes back to where it was at yesterday, which is 14.15, right? You're gonna make a nice amount of bread. All right. So I like Webull to the upside. They have earnings this month, and I think that we could see a run up heading towards earnings. All right. And then you could capitalize on that. If we look at the date for Webull, let's see. Their earnings are August 28th. Okay. So Webull has earnings on August 28th. Okay. Now let's see what week that is. Let me show you. Let me give you guys something. So I'm going to my options chain. All right. All right. Boom. So let's say you want to trade Webull, right? It's pretty cheap right now. You could say you could get a 29 August expiration date, right? And you could get a 29 expiration date at, let's say, $13.50, $14 per contract, right? You could get in right here, because these expiration dates are going to continue to go up, right? And premiums, the closer we get to that week. So if you got in, let's just say today, and you held it for the whole month, I think it's safe to say that these contracts, right, that week, they will be up. All right. I've seen contracts doubled, right? Meta last week was double the week of earnings. And then when it had earnings, all the IV, it got crushed. So what you can do is you can say, okay, I'm going to get in a swing for August 29th. I know their earnings is August 28th. And then I'm going to sell the week of earnings. All right. That's a way that you can do that. But I personally think that Webull is going to go up. And I think that they're going to do well on their earnings as well. Okay. That's what I'm thinking. So we got Alibaba, we got APLD, and we got Webull. All right. Those are the three stocks that I think you can make a $1,500 with this month. All you have to do is know you can make that in one day, honestly, right? You can make it in 2 days, 3 days, depending on your actual, your account value and, how you're trading. And then also we got IWM as well. All right. But if you want to trade IWM and really learn how to do that, then be sure to join the Discord. Okay. Every single day we live trading there. We got a lot of good stuff in there. We got a lot of good resources as well. All right. So with that being said, I hope that was valuable. I hope you guys have a great weekend. All right. Hope you guys have a great weekend. And I'm going to see you guys on tomorrow's video. All right. Like I always say, make sure you get up out of your head and go get into this world, because your head is a dangerous place to live. All right. And also remember, the more you study, the less you worry. All right. I appreciate you guys' time. I'm going to holler at you guys on tomorrow's video. Peace.